Yes, I'm in a new place. I had to get away, hide out from the man. With all the technology that law enforcement has these days, it's hard to imagine anyone fully getting away with a crime. Cameras, DNA evidence, and other scientific-y things make it next to impossible, but there are some cases from the past that are still open where the culprit of a crime was never caught. Here are 10 infamous criminals who were never caught. Number 10 is D.B. Cooper. D.B. Cooper not only evaded authorities, but he completely disappeared. Boarding a Northwest Orient Airlines jet in November of 1971, he hijacked the plane and revealed that he was carrying a bomb in his suitcase. In return for the safety of the passengers, he demanded a ransom of $200,000 along with 4 parachutes. The plane landed in Seattle, where Cooper released everyone except most of the flight crew once the money and parachutes were given to him. The plane then took off, and while caught in a heavy storm, Cooper jumped out with the money and parachutes with him. Authorities believe he would have landed in a remote area near Mount St. Helens, caught in the grips of a bitter winter. But Cooper was never found. Some people believe that he died, and others believe he just got away with it. And if he did get away with it, what's the point if you're stuck in a freezing cold climate? I've got a lot of money. I've got frostbite too, but at least a lot of money. Number 9 is the human bomb. In 1996, a gunman turned a cab driver into a human bomb and then disappeared, never to be caught. His victim, Harvey McLeod, picked up the mysterious man in a cab. Soon, the passenger pulled out a gun and chained a bomb to Harvey, revealing that he could set it off at will with his phone. Harvey was forced to carry another bomb into a bank and threaten everyone with it in return for money. But in an act of heroism, Harvey took the second bomb with him as he left so that no one else could be hurt. But when he returned to the cab, all that he found was a note telling him to drive to a specific payphone and wait for a call. So scared crapless, he did this, but he realized that that payphone couldn't accept incoming calls. So the police were informed, and it turned out that the bombs were fake. So while the gunman never actually got his money, he did get away scot-free. Number 8 is Rocco Perry. Rocco Perry was a powerful crime boss who, after a string of crimes, vanished and was never caught by police. Operating out of Canada, where obviously all the criminals are, he made a name for himself selling illegal alcohol after the drink was banned due to the Ontario Temperance Act of 1916. Known as the King of Bootleggers, he was constantly under surveillance by the Canadian police. Oh, this guy looks like a lot of trouble, eh? Better keep an eye out on him. They also suspected him of a number of other crimes, including extortion, organizing gambling rings, as well as running illegal brothels. Rocco Perry was also suspected of being directly and indirectly involved in gang violence, even wiping out a rival organized crime family. After a number of attempts on his life, Perry was last seen alive on April 23rd, 1944. Listen, I'm not saying I know who this guy is. All I am saying is you don't want to mess with the Canadians, because you don't know. You might end up drowning in Nevada maple syrup, a capiche? Number 7 is Lord Lucan. Lord Lucan was a member of the British aristocracy who allegedly committed murder and then used his resources to evade police capture. In 1972, Lucan had separated from his wife Veronica, and by 1974, they were locked in a bitter battle for custody of their 3 children. But on November 7th of that same year, Veronica claimed that she was attacked by her husband and that he'd murdered their nanny. She ate all the cookies I told her not to. It's not my fault. Fleeing the scene of the crime, Lucan wrote a letter that night claiming that he had stopped someone else from attacking his wife, but that she was using the opportunity to accuse him of murder. An inquest did find that Lucan was guilty of the crime, but there has been much debate about it ever since. But whoever committed the murder doesn't change the fact that Lord Lucan, guilty or not, disappeared into the night. Just like Batman. Lord Lucan, he's Batman. Number 6 is Victor Garina. Victor Garina stole $7 million of cash, and even though the authorities think they know where he is, he's never been arrested. The crime took place on September 12, 1983. Garina was 23 years old at the time and was working as an armored truck guard. It was his responsibility to protect any money or high-value items inside the truck. By the way, quick pause. Good job doing a background check on this guy, everybody. All right, no worries. Instead, Garina overpowered two of his colleagues and made off with millions of dollars. While he reportedly told one of his colleagues that he was only doing it because he was tired of working for other people, it turns out he was actually a member of a Puerto Rican terrorist group. He was never caught, though the FBI believe that he's still hiding in Cuba. Fortunately for Garina, and unfortunately for the authorities, they can't pursue him due to having no jurisdiction there, and the Cuban government refuses to extradite him. Listen, I don't know if you know just how much $7 million is in Cuba, but it's not exactly a rich country, so let's just say this guy is never gonna get caught. Hey man, is that Victor Garina? Nope. Number 5 is the Gardner Museum robbers. The Gardner Museum theft is one of the most ambitious heists in history, and yet the perpetrators have so far evaded capture. It took place on March 18, 1990 at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. Two men impersonated police officers claiming that they were responding to a report of a disturbance. The museum security guards let the men inside, but quickly realized their mistake. "You're police? Oh yeah, please come in." Oh, that guy had a face tattoo. The robbers tied up the security guards and then stole 13 works of art worth an estimated $500 million. As of today, none of the works have been found, and it may be that the robbers have sold them on the black market or were hired by a rich collector to steal them in the first place. But what adds an even more bizarre twist to this story is that several pieces of forensic evidence have disappeared while in the FBI's care. This is an easy one to solve. Have you ever seen the Thomas Crown affair? It was Thomas Crown. What? That's fiction? Okay, let's move on. Number 4 is Sylvester Matuska. Sylvester Matuska was a talented mechanical engineer who used his talents to commit bizarre crimes and then get away with them. But unlike most murderers, Matuska's weapon of choice wasn't a gun or even a knife, it was a train. After 2 failed attempts to derail trains in Austria in 1930 and early 1931, Matuska was finally successful. He derailed a train near Berlin, injuring more than 100 people, some seriously. He then derailed another train, this time heading for Vienna, which resulted in the deaths of 22 people. Now, while Matuska was arrested and convicted, in the end he escaped, never serving his sentence. While no one can be sure of his motives, many believe that he was simply a psychopath. Ha! What do you want, money? No, I just like trains. Number 3 is Matteo Messina Donato. Matteo Donato is perhaps the most infamous organized crime boss of all time, and he's still out there. Donato first rose to prominence during the 1990s. After the death of Bernardo Provenzo in 2016 and Salvatore Rina in 2017, he's believed to be the leader of the Sicilian Mafia. Being on the run since 1993, after allegedly being involved in several killings, Donato has continued to add to his infamy until earning the name the Boss of Bosses. But being a fugitive all these years hasn't stopped him ruling with an iron fist and overseeing criminal activities worth billions. As of 2018, Italian police continue to seize his assets and hunt him down, and yet Donato has evaded them at every turn, continuing his successful reign for decades. Wait a second, I'm seeing a pattern here. All the powerful Italian mob bosses' last name end with an O. Donato, Provenzo, Santoro. Number 2 is the Zodiac Killer. Hide your kids, hide your wife. In one of the most infamous crimes of the 20th century, the Zodiac Killer is an as of yet unidentified serial killer who operated during the 60s and 70s. The Zodiac killed at least 7 people aged between 16 and 29. At the time, the local press in San Francisco received bizarre letters purportedly from the killer himself. Oh my god, he's gonna kill a woman named Jane! Huh, this is his grocery list! The letters included taunts to those trying to catch him and 4 cryptograms containing coded messages. The letters claimed these codes would reveal the killer's identity to those smart enough to decode them, but only one of these have ever been partially solved. The message states that the killer was collecting slaves for his time in the afterlife. Now, while the Zodiac was never caught, suspects were identified, but unless new evidence is found, it's unlikely that the killer will ever be found or brought to justice. Well, if it was the 60s and 70s, he probably had like cool long hair, man, so the best thing he could do is just shave his head, maybe grow a beard, big wide smile. No one would suspect that. And number 1 is Aribert Heim. After the collapse of Nazi Germany in 1945, some of the most prominent members of the Nazi Party went into hiding. But of all of these, Aribert Heim is perhaps the most infamous. Heim was guilty of crimes against humanity during the Holocaust. He carried out abhorrent medical experiments on the Jewish prisoners at a concentration camp. No one knows how many people he killed during his horrific experiments, but it was at least several hundred. Although captured at the end of the war, he was released because no one knew the extent of his crimes. After living in Egypt and working as a gynecologist, he became a fugitive in 1962 when his crimes became known. Now, Heim's son claims that his father died in 1992 of cancer, but no one can be certain. To be honest with you, I don't know what's scarier, the fact that he could still be out there, or the fact that a fugitive Nazi was working on ladies' jiggly bits. So those were 10 infamous criminals who were never caught. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this, remember to give it a thumbs up, and also be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and turn on notifications by clicking the bell beside the subscribe button so that you never miss a thing, because I release new videos all the time. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.